We do have a projected winner in the big Senate race in Kentucky tonight, Mitch McConnell. But we do also have some results in some two other Senate races tonight. There's one of them. ABC News is projecting that Lindsey Graham, the incumbent in South Carolina, will hold on to his seat. And in a special Senate race in South Carolina, ABC News is projecting that Tim Scott will emerge victorious. So 2 Republican victories in South Carolina in the Senate race there. No big surprise, but we wanted to bring you the latest news. Now, we should say, while all eyes are on the Senate tonight, there are 36 governorships up for grabs tonight. At this point in America, there are 21 Democratic governors and 29 Republican governors. As this evening progresses, this picture here could very well change. And in fact, we do have some results in the governor's races tonight. ABC News is projecting that Nikki Haley, the incumbent Republican in South Carolina, will hold on to her seat. There is another huge governor's race down south tonight. We do not have enough information to project a winner in the governor's race in Georgia. That is where Jason Carter is running against Nathan Deal. Jason Carter, it is worth noting, is the grandson of Jimmy Carter. Let's bring in now ABC's Cokie Roberts, who's joining us from our Washington bureau. Cokie, with us?
Yes, Dan. Very interesting night all the way around.
So let's talk about the biggest headline to emerge thus far, which is Mitch McConnell. Surprise or not a surprise? I mean, Allison Lundergan Grimes, the Democrat, ran a pretty good campaign.
She ran a very good campaign, and she had the whole world come in to support her. President Clinton, Mrs. Clinton, every Democrat who anybody in Kentucky happens to like. And so she thought for a while that she was doing well. McConnell always, though, Dan, starts off poorly and then picks up toward the end. And what was so interesting was that he, of course, if the Republicans do take the Senate, he will become the majority leader. And 63% of the people told the exit pollsters that that was very important to them, that it was that control of the Senate was very important in terms of their vote. Now, that's somewhat arcane. It's not something that affects you personally. But in Kentucky, people understood it, and they went for McConnell.
I want to get into the exit polls in a moment, but let me ask you about the results out of South Carolina tonight. Not surprising to have 3 Republicans emerging victorious, according to ABC News projections. It is surprising, however, when you talk about the ethnic backgrounds of the winners tonight.
Absolutely. Tim Scott was appointed to the Senate, but now he has been elected to the Senate, an African-American elected to the Senate in South Carolina. Nikki Haley, the governor, re-elected, an Indian American elected to the governorship in South Carolina. This is a big change in the American South. And this is something that, as the country has gotten less white, has been remarked in a lot of parts of the country, but it is true in the South as well as other places. And South Carolina is certainly showing it tonight.
Let's talk about the exit polls now. The anger emanating out of these cold numbers is palpable. And as you and I were discussing before we went on the air, people are not only upset with President Obama and the economy, but they're also not expressing a lot of love for the Republicans.
No, they don't like either party very much, and they're clearly saying that. And in the national, when you sort of look at every state together and try to pull together some national numbers, the support for the president was very small, and the number of people who say that they voted to support the president was about 20%. About 33% said they were opposing the president. The rest said he wasn't a factor. Although sometimes that's, it's a factor that you're not quite aware that you're voting on when you go in to vote. But the Republican Party has also not seen very positively. Only 41% say they approve versus 55% who say they disapprove. And Republican leaders, 38% say they approve. 44% say they approve of the president. So it's not that the Republicans are getting a ringing endorsement tonight, but the upset over the economy remains very, very high. Concern about terrorism is high, and the president's handling of all of it is low.
It struck me, looking at the numbers, that people are not only angry, but they are, as our chief political editor here has described, angsty as well. They're not only angry, but they're worried about their future.
They are. When you ask them if you think things are going to get better over the next few years, the answer is a resounding no. And again, when you have this fear of terrorism out there, that's angsty, certainly. And the people who say that they think that their own economic situation has gotten better, even though we know that the big economic numbers are better, that number is very small. Most people actually say, the plurality say they think their economic situation has stayed about the same.
All right, that's such a key dynamic in American politics right now, the difference between the numbers at the top looking good, the unemployment numbers going down, the Dow going up, but people out there in Main Street not feeling it. ABC's Cokie Roberts will be coming back to you repeatedly throughout this evening. I will try to make up more words like angsty as we continue to move through the evening. Appreciate that, Cokie.
Always good.